One spot. Oh, is it working? Yay! It works now. Okay, we're on for February monthly Q&A. Femininity and hypergamy Q&A. So finally we got this to work. Sorry for the delay. Anyways, so I am going to go into a topic that I have on my mind. I thought I was going to do it in pieces while I was out vlogging with my daughter as I was taking her for a walk, but I think now would be a good time to do some wife prep for you young ladies, and I wanted to continue on this path of what are the keys to a successful marriage and why this is important. Like I mentioned in my intro, I said that I think for a lot of us, when we go into marriage, or like the church just tells you the only thing that you need for a thriving and a healthy marriage is prayer. I don't know about y'all, but that is what I heard. And it's like, yes, prayer. But I think that there are traits that if you put 100 healthy, happy, and successful couples in a room, you'll probably start to see a lot of commonality among them. Because at the same time, you're telling people just to pray, but there are Christians who are divorcing or on the brink of divorce, or they don't have happy marriages. And people in the world, sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes they have happy marriages. So how do we explain that? It can't just be simply prayer. Yes, you should pray. You should pray with your spouse. You should pray to have a good marriage, but you should also seek wisdom, seek knowledge. The Bible says that people perish for a lack of knowledge. And the Bible says wisdom is the principal thing. So with all thy getting, get understanding. So I think it's important that we have this mindset of, hey, I've never been in a marriage before. Maybe I should look into it and see what are the keys. Like what are what research has been done that shows me what are commonalities amongst happily married couples. But let's go into the first thing I think that is really important for young ladies to understand when it comes to marriage and having a successful marriage is acceptance. I actually recorded this yesterday or 2 days ago, but I didn't have my mic in and you heard it was just terrible. But I'm just going to repeat what I said in the video, but I had to delete it because it was unusable. Acceptance is probably one of the biggest keys to a successful marriage. When I was single and I was preparing for marriage, there was one book that I read. It was The Seven Principles of Making Marriage Work by John Gottman, by Dr. John Gottman. He said a lot in the book and about how he can predict divorce with like a 91% accuracy and all that stuff. But one thing that he said that really stood out to me was the majority of marital problems are unsolvable. Something to that extent. Now, he probably said it differently, but that's what I took it. Majority of marital problems are unsolvable. Why are they unsolvable? Because you're two different people. And who you are when you come into marriage is more than likely who you're going to stay. And not to say that people can't grow and evolve, but there's some key differences that people have that what people do when they get into a marriage or get into a relationship, but especially when it comes to marriage, they try to change one another. And they keep trying to change one another, manipulate one another because some type of trait that the other person has the other party doesn't like it. So they keep nagging, they keep trying to change, they keep bickering about the same thing. Whatever you is an issue when you first get married is always going to be an issue. You just have to find a way to accept it and move past it. And I'll talk about compromise in the next key. I'm jumping ahead of myself, but acceptance is really, really important. When you meet someone, they're not going to be perfect. I tell young women that when you date and you're trying to prepare for marriage and you are considering different men, I tell women to look for 80%. 80% seems like settling to some women, but that is very foolish because what women do is they're looking for 20%. They're looking for preferences. They're just looking for 20%. But once you get to the apex of your standards, what I say is that things don't get better, they just get different. When you reach the apex of your standards and men are treating you well, they have good character, you have similar values. After that, it's just preferences that you have to accept. Oh, he's short. Oh, he's a little bit chubby. He has a child. He's divorced. He's bald, right? This is that's it, right? Or oh, he's messy and he has a funny laugh. I don't like the way his laugh is. He picks his nails. He's not intellectually stimulating enough for me. Whatever. You see, all these things are their preferences, but they're not standards. They don't make the how do you say they don't make the cake, right? You have a cake and then you have frosting and sprinkles. You have a pizza and then you have pizza toppings. You can't just look for toppings without having something firmly established. You can build a healthy and a successful marriage with the pizza. Flow with me here, right? A pizza base. You have the bread, you have the cheese, you have the sauce. That is a pizza. Now, you may not really enjoy pineapples, right? But you can pick those off, right? As long as you have the pizza is what you have to focus on, not the toppings. Women go and look for their favorite toppings and they have no pizza. You're looking for pepperoni and sausage because that's your favorite. He's tall. Wow, he's tall. Does tall pay the bills? Not to say you can't have those preferences, but you can't put the cart before the horse. So when it comes to that first key, acceptance, you just have to figure out what can I accept? And you have to learn to deal with those things. And once you come into marriage with the expectation of this person is imperfect just like me and they suck just like me. You know why? Because they're a sinner. Because we live in a fallen world. They suck. I have to learn to accept these things about this person. And I have to focus on the positive. I have to focus on what I do have. I have to focus on the 80%. I have to nurture the 80%. This is how women they get into how do you say it? They find themselves in affairs, they leave their husbands, they divorce, they break up their homes. Why? Because oh well, this guy over here, he was lively and he made me feel alive and this and that. But and again, I feel like I'm jumping ahead of myself because these are other keys, but acceptance is really important. You have to accept one another. So that's key one. The second key, what did I say before I jumped ahead? I think I said um okay, so there is acceptance, there is compromise. Okay, compromise is probably the next key. So write this down. Key two is compromise. You can't have a healthy marriage where two people are selfish because at the end of the day, there's going to be something that you both are going to have to agree on, or one person is going to have to give up something for the other person. When I say that, because you have some couples, and usually these couples are not happy. It's all or nothing. You have one person who is giving, 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 and they might have some codependency issues. And the other person may not just be taking, they might not be doing it intentionally, but it's kind of my way or the highway. I'm here. And the other person keeps acquiescing without being honest with what they want. And you both have to be honest about your desires, honest about what you want, meet in the middle, or one person, like I said, acquiesce. There's some things that maybe your husband wants that you may not care for, but when you both are selfless and you both are giving 100% into the marriage, you're like, nah. For example, right? Let's say, I don't know, your husband likes your hair long. Okay, I mean, you don't really have a preference in how you wear your hair, but you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll just wear it long. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I mean, right? It's not this thing of everything happens my way or everything happens your way. You both have to open up and agree. That's it. And this comes with so many different things. This isn't just appearance. It could be how the home is ran. It could be when it comes to things that you want. For example, I'm more extroverted, right? My husband is more ambiverted, but I'm more extroverted. I like to be outside. My husband's a homebody. Now, even though my husband doesn't necessarily prefer to always be outside, since he knows that's something that I like and I'm very vocal about it, like, hey, I want to do this thing, he will say, okay, well, that's fine. I don't mind coming once in a while to your excursions, right? Sure, we can go together and we can do these things together. You understand? So, this is what I mean by finding a middle ground in things, seeking to compromise wherever you can. And again, that just goes into every different area, but both of you have to be honest. And I would say the third key, that goes into the third key, which is communication. Healthy couples have an open communication with each other. They are clear in the way that they speak to one another, the way that they relate to one another. They're not passive aggressive. They're not, you should read my mind. They are very direct. Like, hey, this is what I want, right? Can we do this? Or, I don't really want that, but I'm open to doing this. And again, it goes back to the compromise and you're open to communicate. But when you have women who are, it's mostly women, right? Men are usually more direct. Now, I do know that there are some men who might be afraid to open up and tell their wives what they want and openly communicate because they're afraid that it's going to hurt their feelings, or then they're going to give them the cold shoulder and then they're going to sleep on the couch because they said something that the wife didn't like. And that does not create a healthy atmosphere for it doesn't create a healthy atmosphere for a successful marriage, if you understand what I'm saying. It When both people are afraid of hurting the other person's feelings and they're afraid of rejection and oh my gosh, he told me that he liked my hair long and that means he thinks I'm ugly. What? This is how some women are. And then you take it the wrong way and now he might feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't say anything anymore and I should keep my desires to myself because I had a bad reaction from it. You have to create a safe and open space for each of you, right? For your husband, for you, and for you to your husband. I know we always think as a woman we need the emotional safe space, but men need a space to be safe as well. And for sometimes with us as women, by our reactions to what our husbands might say, we might unknowingly turn them off, or we might unknowingly put a wall between us because of how we reacted instead of, remember how I talked about acceptance? Okay, he's gonna say some crazy stuff. I need to just be open, right? I need to just be open, be supportive. I don't have to agree with everything, but I do have to create some type of safety for him to be able to express freely without judgment, and vice versa. As women, we're very emotional. And men are not emotional like we are. They're fixers, they're problem solvers. If they see you crying, they're not going to run in and try to hug you. They're probably going to solve the problem. What's the issue? How do we fix it? How can I get you to stop crying? This is how men think. You, as a woman, need to be open with your communication and tell him, hey, I don't need you to solve my problems right now. I need a hug. I need just some emotional support. I need a kiss on the forehead. That's all I need right now. I know you're trying to solve my problem, but let's revisit that when I'm not in this emotional state. That's it. Right? Problem solved. The end. You get your hugs, you get your kisses, and then maybe a day or two later when you're feeling better, then you guys can revisit, well, what did you do wrong? How could we avoid this from happening again, etc., etc. Right? So communication is very big, and you have to learn that as a woman. You have to get out of people pleasing and being the nice girl. You have to open your mouth. Men are not mind readers. Hello, men are not mind readers. I cannot stress that enough. I knew this going into marriage, which is why, again, my husband and I, we had a pretty smooth intro into marriage, and to the grace of God, we are still very good, right? And I attribute a lot of our success in marriage to my preparation and having this foreknowledge before I got into marriage. I understood, okay, my husband's going to be imperfect. I understood, okay, I have to accept. I understood, okay, I have to open my mouth and communicate. He's not going to be able to read my mind. Even if it comes to emotional support, he's not going to naturally do that. I'm not going to now resent him because I feel bad and he should know. I'm just going to tell him exactly what I want, exactly what I need in this moment. So these are just things. And last key, I feel like there is one more key, but there's only one more key. I feel like there's two more keys, but there's only one more key that's sticking out in my mind. And that is gratitude. Okay. Gratitude, I would say, is key number 4 for a healthy and successful marriage. So, a lot of women, I don't know what it is, but when they, how do I say it? When they start getting comfortable with their husbands, they take them for granted. There's a saying that says, familiarity breeds contempt. I think that's the saying. And it's something similar. I think that when you're focused on the 20% that you are not getting, you completely ignore the 80%. The 80% is what you need to water. When they tell you that life isn't, or the grass isn't greener on the other side, this is what is meant by that. The grass is not greener, it's green where you water it. Water that 80%. Water your, speak to your husband's strengths. Don't be a nagger. The Bible talks about a quarrelsome wife and how that is almost like the worst thing in the world, to just have a woman nagging you and quarreling with you. So be grateful, admire each other, speak life into each other. You see your husband doing something well, never get so comfortable that you stop saying thank you, like you're owed it. If I see my husband taking out the trash, I tell him thank you. He pays the bills, I say thank you. We go out for, oh, I remember now. I remember the last key. Good thing I remembered. We go out for date nights, he pays, I say thank you. But you never sit here and just get so comfortable like, "Ugh, well, he should do that already. See, he didn't even come clean up his dish last night. He's gonna take out the trash. Well, you look at these dishes. Don't do that. Don't do that. You want to always be grateful, always speak life, always speak words of encouragement to each other. That has to be a habit. That's not something you do every once a month. You say thank you, because that is how someone feels not valued, right? They don't feel valued, they don't feel appreciated, and you start to drift apart, which goes into my last key. And then I'm going to take your questions. The last key is romance. Okay. You two are not friends. Yes, you are friends, but you are first husband and wife. And okay, let me rephrase that, because some people are like, well, you're going to say that you guys are not friends. What I am saying is they're friends, and then there's your husband. Is your husband your friend? Yes, but he's first your husband. You have to see him as your husband first, not just a friend. The reason I say that, okay, I had to preface it. I know it's going to sound kind of strange, but when I hear a lot of people who have divorced and you ask them, why did they divorce? Oh, we fell out of love. I still have love for this person, which is, again, they're still friends, but they have lost what it means to be husband and wife. There is a romance, there's a deeper level of intimacy that happens between a husband and a wife that you should not take for granted and you should not put on the back burner. That is what keeps you two as one. Because if not, you could have just been friends. Why are you married? That's just a roommate. It becomes a roommate after a certain point in time when you do not keep that romance, that spark alive. And what women do, because it's how we've been programmed, is they wait for serendipity. They wait to feel sparks and they just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. No, some things have to be a skill. It has to be something that is learned, not learned, but a habit that you guys have. So, for example, like with my husband and I, we have date nights every single week since we met. We go on a date at least once a week, sometimes twice, but usually, especially now that we have a child, it's once a week. At one point in time before my daughter was born, we went on a date twice a week, but now it's once a week. And I learned that again from other married couples. Before I even got married, there were, I want to say, three or four Christian couples that I knew were happy. They've been married for a long time. It was all the same thing. We go on a date every single week. It was the same. That's why I said it's not just prayers, oh, you have to really seek understanding. And I said, huh, y'all go on a date every week? Wow. And this one I was single before I met my husband. So what I did was I said, okay, well, you know, what do I know? I'm not married. They're happily married. And it's like three, four people who have said the same thing. What I did in my singleness is like I tried to budget dates, right? Which thank God for my husband. He's better with money than I am. I said, okay, we could go bowling, we could do this, we could do that. Oh, okay, so we have to set aside this percentage of our income in order to go on a date every single week. Now, obviously, you don't need to spend money every week. It depends on your income, it depends on your class, it depends on your financial goals, but it's the intentionality that counts. Having a specific day that you two say, okay, we're going to go out to eat, we're going to go to the mall, we're going to go hiking, we're going to do something every single week and put it down, right? Because again, this is what keeps that spark alive. You're still experiencing new things, you're still growing together, you're still having fun, you're still romancing, guys are still kissing and all that stuff. Don't think that it's just going to come naturally. Life is all about intentionality. The type of life that you want, ladies, and this is big when it comes to femininity, it takes intentionality. It is not something that is going to just fall into your lap because you wanted it. Okay, right? You have to have the vision for it, write it down, and be intentional about it. And then you have to execute it. Okay. So having dates frequently, how often you guys have a date, or maybe, just whenever you guys get married, but just have it in your mind. And to the glory of God, I didn't have to convince my husband about that. He already had in his mind date every single week. And he got that too. You know where he got it from? Books. Him and I were on the same wavelength. It's like, yeah, I read this about in books. Yeah, yeah, me too. Boom. Okay. So I would say have that consistency, because when you don't go on dates often, or you're not intentional about romancing each other, especially once kids come, everything, life just keeps going. Then years pass by and you're like, oh my gosh, where was the time? And you get so caught up in the hustle and bustle that you don't pause to remember, this is my husband. This is not my roommate. This is my husband. So the romance has to be there, because some women then, when it comes time for sex, they're like, oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, I didn't, because you haven't been prepped for it. Versus if you already have this type of habit, this type of consistency, I'm like, okay, we go out, we laugh, we hee hee, we romance, we smooch, smooch, smooch. And then, you're a little bit more open for sex or something like that. Versus just, you're always on 100. You're always running around doing this, doing that, getting the kids, and then you're exhausted at the end of the day or at the end of the week or whatever the case is. And then you get a love tap from your husband and you're starting to feel resentment in your heart because he doesn't see that I'm stressed out. Well, going back to communication, if you are stressed out, what do you need? But even if you are stressed out, you cannot negate the fact that you married a man. This is your husband, right? This is not your friend. This is not your roommate. You two still have a duty to each other. So might as well be proactive about it and not wait until the car breaks down and then you check under the hood. Okay. So those are my 5 major keys for successful marriage, some wife prep for you. These are some things that I learned before I got married through books, through other mentors, through observation, and things I've applied in my own marriage. And again, to the glory of God, we have a happy and thriving marriage, but it's something I feel like young women also need to have in their brain as well. Because if I feel like if I didn't have the information that I did, I don't know how I would have turned out. I think I would have had misplaced expectations when it came to marriage. So this is why I am sharing these things with you. So now I'm going to open this up to questions. All right. So you could either type in the chat, come off mute, raise your hand, something, and let me know what questions you have about hypergamy, femininity, or wife prep. Anything that I mentioned or anything new, you can go ahead and ask your question. And I hope this was helpful. If this was helpful, let me know if you can put in the chat. Let me know if this brought some awareness to you, if you already knew this stuff, or if this was good information. Hopefully you guys were listening. I have a few of you in the chat. Very helpful. Okay. Awesome. Yes. Kayla, go ahead. You can unmute yourself. Extremely insightful. Praise the Lord.
Oh, I'm sorry. It took forever to find the unmute button. Um, so, um, I have actually, I think it's two questions, but I'll try to form it into one. Um, so I came here on the last two keys. I'm sorry I'm late. And yes, I agree with everything that you said. It's about time somebody said something. Um, in that similar vein, I just would like to know, how do I start preparing as a single um lady who is a little bit older, and actually, yeah, that's all I wanted to know. Very glad to be here. Very glad to know of someone who is talking about hypergamy in a Christian um sense of the way of doing it. So thank you very much.
Of course. God bless you. So how should you start preparing for marriage or for dating? I'm trying to understand your question a little bit more so that I can
Um,
answer.
I guess preparing for the dating part. The marriage part, I think if I listen to like if I read up on enough stuff and listen to like people like you and everything like that part, I'm already taking notes for that part. It's just the steps before that that I would like help with.
Okay, so good question. Even though this is not a dating live, I'll still answer your question. So, how do you prepare for dating? I hmm, I would say just go for it. I don't think that nothing can really prepare you for dating. It's something that you have to learn through trial and error. Oh, one thing I can say to prepare you for dating is manage your expectations. That's probably the best advice I can give to any woman. So, manage your expectations. How some women come into the dating market is they expect, and I always say this is attributed to what is it called? To Disney. And they think that if they go out and they just stand in the middle of the street and a handsome Prince Charming is just going to bump into them, right? And a handsome,
Yes,
hot,
yep.
rich
I already
dude.
discovered this like last year, and I'm like, Disney lie.
Yeah, Disney definitely lied to you. And you think that if I just exist, the first person who I bump into, the first person I talk to, the first person to take interest in me is going to be my husband. Let that go. Let that go. I tell
Got it.
women you should expect and accept rejection. Rejection and failure is part of the journey. And this is not just for dating, this is for anything, right? This is for every area. You have to fail in order to succeed. Drill down to your head, ladies. This is a femininity principle. You have to fail in order to succeed. Say it again. You say it as I'm saying it. You don't have to come off mute, but just say it to yourself. I have to fail in order to succeed. One more time. I
I
have
have
to
to fail
fail
in order
in
to
order to
succeed.
succeed. There
It
you go.
hurts.
I know it hurts, but it is a truth that you have to accept. You're gonna suck. You know why? Because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to date. If this is your first time getting on the dating market, why would you be a pro? Why would you know everything? You don't. It's like riding a bike. You're not going to start doing a pop a wheelie, the first time you have a tricycle, you have a bike with training wheels, like you don't know what you're doing. You're gonna suck. Okay. You're gonna suck. But you have to that is part of the process. So when you meet a man and okay, you're like, well, let's see where this is gonna go. More than likely the first guy. This is just numbers, right? When I always say marriage is a numbers game, this is what I mean. It is extremely rare that the first guy that you talk to and get to know will be your husband. Extremely rare. You might talk to one guy, things are going well, and then you're like, nah, you know what? There's some things about him that I can't accept. Okay. The next guy you talk to, wow, I really like this, and he doesn't like you. Okay. The next guy, wow, things were going well. We went on a date, and then he ghosted me. Okay. It is all part of the process. So expect to not get to the altar with every man because you won't, right? I think that's the best advice I can give you is just to manage your expectations, stay present and detached from the outcome. Do not look at every man as a means to an end. And is this my husband? Is this my husband? He's not. Today, he's not. Today, he is just Brother Eric. I don't know. That's all he is. That is all he is today. Brother Eric, he's another image bearer. That is it. Stay present. Do not jump to the altar. Do not jump to marriage and start planning your wedding because a hot guy said hi. Don't do it
Cool.
because
I
this is
can handle
how
that. I wish you could have told me that when I was 18, but I can handle that now.
we're here now. We are here now. But
Thank you
yeah,
very
awesome.
much.
Of course. Thank you for your question. So we have a question in the chat. What have you allowed to fall off slash go bare minimum as you focus on your goals? You've talked over time about what to keep on point, but what are some things many women focus on, likely in vain, assuming she seeks to be hypergamous, good wife, and mother? Okay, so I think I understand your question. I'm going to say what I think you're asking, and you can correct me if this is what you're actually asking. Are you saying, how did I discover what to prioritize and what to deprioritize in different season? How did I decide that? And are you asking, okay, um, and what do I think? Okay, I'll answer the first question first. Okay, so I have uh uh what is it called? A course, right? A course, Goal Getter Masterclass. And I explain this in depth. So I'll actually bring up one of the slides. You guys can purchase it in the course because I do think it's extremely helpful. And I think the price is fair for what I'm charging. Um, Everything ties back to vision. Everything ties back to vision. And hold on, let me just go to Canva. So first things first, before you think about goals, you have to first understand, what do you want out of life? What is the fulfillment that you want to have? Focus on that and then you work backwards. There's a book, Start with Why. I forgot who wrote it. My husband tried to put me on, but you start with your why first. Why am I doing this? Is this going to get me further to the life that I want? And if it's not, then what's the point? Right? Because what a lot of women do is that they chase after um things that are fleeting because Women are trying to create goals that are motivated on shame. Okay, and I talk about this in the course, in Goal Getter Masterclass. Women try to create goals based on I should do this thing. I should lose weight because people told me I'm too big. I should learn another language because it seems like that's what the girlies are doing and that's going to make me seem cool. I should do X, Y, and Z. I should drink more water because I was told I'm supposed to. I should not be on social media because I guess I'm lazy. Goals created from shoulds are usually not long lasting. That's a major key. Goals that are motivated by shame usually are short lived, which is why you have to start with the why. And when you start with the why, that's where you focus on the benefits, not on the consequences, I guess. Like I think benefits are better for long-term goal setting and actually achieving your goal versus okay, strategy. Here we go. Let me pull up the pyramid so I'll take you guys through this one part in the course. So it's kind of like a preview so you guys can really consider, hey, do I want to do this? I think you should. If I were you, I would. Okay. Okay, let me present and then I'm going to, oh no, what happened? Oh, okay. Dang, I feel like I don't be knowing how to work stuff. Dang, where is my husband when you need him? Okay, got it. Let me share. Yes, I see your questions and I will get to it in a second. Okay, can you guys see the screen? Just put a thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, cool. All right, so this is how you need to structure your life, ladies. First, you have to start with the emotional fulfillment. What do I want to feel? Because the thing with vision is not the same as a goal. A goal is a destination, but it's once you get to that destination, then what? Vision, you can think of it, this is how I want to feel when I get there. What people focus on the goal, but not on the vision. So why do you want a certain thing? Because let's just say, for example, you want marriage because you want to feel accomplished, because you want to feel loved, because you want whatever the case is, right? So you start with the vision. Then you go into goals, which is what I said is the destination. Then from goals, you now determine strategy, right? Which a lot of women they don't do because they're too focused on the goal. Oh, I just need to lose 10 pounds. Well, why? Right? Why? Two people can have two different whys for why they need to lose 10 pounds. You need to start with the why and not the goal. For one person, it might be because I want to be healthier and I am overweight and I don't like the weight that I'm in right now. Okay, fair. You may not like your weight. You want to be healthy, you want to be more health conscious. For another person, it's more for I don't feel confident as like the way that I look. So I want to improve my confidence so that I can get better results. Maybe in life, I want to get more opportunities. I want to feel like I can go after things. When it comes to men, I want a higher pool of men. That's all fine and dandy. You just got to know your why. I want a better life for myself. And I know if I work on my appearance, then, I'm going to have this outcome. You see, two different whys, two different whys. The goal might be the same, but the why is different. And based on that, then you go into strategy. How do you get to the destination? And strategy, people do not talk about it. There are more than one ways to do a thing. And you have to now determine, do I want to, um, you have to just sketch out all the different types of way that you can achieve the goal. Women are too narrow-minded and they're thinking in scarcity without actually planning it out. A, B, and C. Guys, I'm giving you guys a preview to the course. So, okay. I'm giving you guys, this is a preview right now. I'm giving you a little teaser. All right. And then from there, you have to think about skills. What skills do I have to master? No one talks about strategy and no one talks about skill. Strategy is how do you get to the destination? If the destination is to lose 10 pounds, there's more than one way to do that. You can diet and exercise. You can get lipo. You could wear a waist trainer. I don't know, right? You can do Ozempic. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying that there's different ways to do the thing. And again, it has to match the vision. Then the skills, what skills do you have to master? If it's diet and exercise, that's a skill. It doesn't come to people naturally. Weight management is not something that, and I'm using weight and diet and exercise just because it's easy to understand, but this is anything. This is anything in life. Okay. This is not just one thing, right? So, um, okay. And then the next thing is habits. Who do you have to be today? Who do you have to be today that will achieve this vision tomorrow? All right. So this is kind of like a ladder. People skip this, and they focus on this. That's all they focus on. Goals, 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 goals. I have to just drink more water. Why? And you're waiting for this burst of energy or this burst of motivation, but your burst of motivation is motivated usually by shame. It's usually motivated by, oh, I should do this now. Okay, now I have some motivation. I'm going to do it. It's not going to be long lasting at all. It will not. Okay. You become based on your habits. Your habits snitch on you. So if you're sitting here and you see, guys, I don't have to run today because my client canceled for her appointment right now. So we can actually talk a little bit more. But yeah, but the habits, your habits form your identity. If someone was always at the gym, what would you say about them? You'll probably say, oh, they're probably healthy or they value health and fitness. Why? Because their habits are snitching on them. If someone spent their entire life on social media, just scrolling, every time that they got distracted, they scrolled on social media. You probably say, oh, that person is lazy and distracted. Why? Because of their habits. Their habits are forming their identity. What you do in the mundane is what determines everything, right? Really, the people who are successful are people who are able to essentially be robots and just do the work. Do the work, right? Build the habits, do the work, and just be on autopilot until you get to the destination. Because I guarantee you, people focus on goals. Goals are arbitrary. They just set a destination. But the habits, if you have certain habits today and those habits master skills tomorrow, then you have no choice but to reach that goal. Would you not say so? If somebody went to the gym every single day, did the right workouts, ate the proper nutrition every single day, do you not think that their body is going to transform a year from now? You would say like, yeah, duh. But and this is why you women are too focused on time. You're too focused on I have to reach this goal by this time. Why? Why do you have to reach that goal by this time? That means that goal was not tied to a vision because what women do, they create a vision board, which is really a goal board for the year. The end of the year comes, they didn't reach their goals, and they're like, oh, well, see, this is why I don't make goals. Huh? Really? If the goal for me, for example, is to make $1 million, I'm not gonna just stop and be mediocre and then go back to McDonald's just because I didn't reach it in 6 months. Come on. However long it takes is because why? That's part of my vision. I want to have financial freedom. Financial freedom is the vision. $1 million might just be a singular goal. Who cares about the goal? At the end of the day, I want to feel financially free, and however long it takes is how long it's going to take. That's how long it's going to take. So if I want to make $1 million because I want financial freedom, what is the strategy? Okay, I can invest in stocks and I could wait 40 years for it to appreciate. Okay, I can start my own business and grow my business from the ground up and try to figure that out. Okay, I can get into real estate. Okay, I can do real estate and make passive income that will eventually make me $1 million, whatever. Right? There's different ways, different strategies. Based on those strategies, what skills do I have to master? Okay, well, if I want to do stocks, well, I had to learn how to differentiate from different stocks. Like what type of what do I want to do here? Right? I need to master that skill because I don't have that skill. I don't have financial management skills. That's a skill that I have to manage. I don't have business skills. Maybe you want to do business. I don't have business skills. I suck at marketing. I suck at this. I don't know how to do these things right. Okay, based on the skills you have to master, what habits do you have to do today? I have to read a book every single month. Being very practical. I have to read a book every single month. I have to invest well, that's mentorship, but whatever. I have to talk to my mentor if you get one, whatever. Once a week. I have to read stocks every single day. Every single day, I have to read a book. I have to read stocks. I have to work on my business every single day. I have to keep making content. I have to keep creating products. I have to keep watching videos. These are habits that you have to develop in the mundane. Okay. So let me get off this point. I hope that makes sense. I think you had another question. You said, what are some things that many women focus on but likely in vain, assuming they want to be a hypergamous, a good wife, and a mother? What women focus on that they don't need to focus on is the superficial stuff. Women are trying to focus on what dress to wear, what lipstick to wear, um, how to do their hair, how to bag a rich dude, how to differentiate a rich guy from a poor guy, how to read into his actions, how to discern, oh, what are the red flags I have to look for? Feminine women don't ask those stupid questions. I'm sorry. It's very stupid. You don't ask for what are the red flags. You discern them when they come up. If you have to ask, or if you need a laundry list of red flags, that means you lack emotional intelligence and you lack um, self awareness and boundaries. You don't have to keep looking around for, oh my gosh, is this a red flag? Is this a red flag? You don't have to be hyper vigilant. Feminine women are not hyper vigilant. Usually that just means you lack a skill and you're trying to mask it with looking for red flags, which are not applicable in certain cases, but you can't even think for yourself because you lack critical thinking skills. So the real work that you have to do is the internal work. This is what I mean by do the work. All these goals and, oh yeah, drink more water. That's wonderful. At the end of the day, why? Why? Why do you want to drink a liter of water a day? Why? Why? Right? Why? What is your identity? Who are you? Get down to that trauma, that deep rooted trauma that you have, the mental blocks that you have. Some of you guys have limiting beliefs. You have a scarcity mindset. You have daddy issues. I can really go on and on and on and on about the things that you actually do need to do. Some of you guys lack emotional regulation. Y'all have triggers and you guys manage them improperly. You guys are trying to avoid that, but you're trying to look for a rich dude. That's crazy. That is crazy to me. I'm not saying don't date and don't position yourself for a man who can provide. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying while you do that, don't forget that this is the real work that has to be done. If you're hyper focused on the man and what the man is doing and how you look, but not how you think, not what's happening in here, you're working backwards. So hopefully that helps. Um, okay, you're welcome. See you later. Okay, so we have another question. We have two more questions. Can you please share some tips on how to positively and femininely challenge a man, her husband? For example, I feel like there are some people that could influence him even better if he starts listening to them on YouTube. Okay, so here's one thing you have to understand about men. Okay. Men, and I hate to say this, but men don't listen to women. I know, canceled. But he should. No. Okay. The last time he listened to a woman was his mama when he was a boy. Men know that they have to lead. Men know they have to have what is called a strong frame. Okay. A masculine man has to have a strong frame. Men who are weak have a weak frame. And this is where women can push them and direct them in any way that they should go. And a man in his masculinity, he doesn't want to be led by a woman because that's not her job. But that's what women do. They try to usurp his authority. I know better. I know more. You should listen to me. And they start nagging, right? You don't want to do that because that's not your place. right? And this does not mean that you cannot femininely influence a man. We help our clients understand this in our program, feminine influence, right? But you just have to come with that understanding that a man doesn't have, especially your husband, he doesn't have to listen to you. Even you look in the Bible, you see how Abraham got in trouble because what did God say? Because he listened to your wife. Who got in trouble as well? Adam. Why? Because he listened to his wife. Even though we might be saying good things, the brunt of leadership still rests on men. The responsibility rests on men. Because what if you're telling him something and you lead him away from where he needed to go? He can't now sit here and blame you like Adam. Oh, well, she told me to do this. No, he's the man. He's the head. You should have told your wife, no, this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm leading the family, right? That's how a man should be. Masculine men should have a strong frame. They should not be so easy to bend to because a woman is saying something to them. Even if she is right, it doesn't matter because he has the final say at the end of the day. Why? Because he is burdened with the responsibility of any decision that happens in the home. He cannot sit here and blame you and say, oh, because I listened to my, oh, but she told me to do this. He gets in trouble. You get to come under him and be like, well, that's you. You get to put your hands off. Think about it like this. If you have an organization, right, and you have a CEO, and then you have maybe a manager, not even a CFO, CEO, you just have a manager, a supervisor, goes to the CEO and says, hey, this is how you need to run your company. Now, yeah, he could just take the supervisor's advice and apply it to his company. But if his company hits the fan and everything just hits the fan, who is in trouble? Is it the CEO or is it the supervisor? It's the CEO. He had to make that call at the end of the day. So this is all about order. Same thing in military. If you have I don't even know military terminology. I don't know if it's a private or a lieutenant. I don't know. You just have a subordinate, and then you have someone who's over you. It's not the subordinate's job to tell the one who's over him what to do. You can make suggestions, but you should never expect that. No, because you know why? That means you two are both fighting for to be the head. There can only be one head. This is why God told women or wives to submit to their husbands. It's not sexist. It's not, oh, because women are not good enough. It has to do with order. Every area, every type of, how do I say, organization that you see, there's order. Where there's no order, nothing gets done. If both people are trying to be the head, who's going to be the body? Okay. So just some wife prep as you're going into marriage. Just know he's the head and I'm not. I know it hurts your ego. I know it hurts. And I don't want, you'll have so much more peace if you just accept that fact. But how do you femininely suggest or femininely influence a man? You have to come from a place of this is just a suggestion. And you have to release the burden of being right. There's being right, and then there's being righteous. Do not fight to be right, fight to be righteous. Go in with the expectation of he may not even listen to me, but I'm still going to insert this here. Why? Because I'm his helpmate. So, one, you have to, the man has to trust you, right? This is why I said earlier about having safety, right? A man has to feel safe with you. Some men do not feel safe with the women that they're with, but you wouldn't know that. Create a sense of safety, create a sense of acceptance. You already accept them, you're supporting them, you're advocating for them, you're encouraging them, you're speaking life into them. And then if you have a suggestion, never frame it as a challenge or you're not doing this or you need to do this. Don't do that. Say, oh, yeah, you told me about this. Have you considered this? I mean, you don't have to take it, but what do you think about this? Is this something that you think that whatever? The key is to always make a man think that it was his idea. Because I mean, whatever, you just planted a seed, but it's not, I told you so, you need to listen to me. That's prideful. You want to just plant the seed and allow him to do with it as he wishes. All you do is put the suggestion on the table, and if he wants to take it, he will. That's all you have to do. And from there, that's him. You know what you do if he's not taking the suggestion and you feel like there's something he can do better? Then you go and pray. Hello? You fight your battles on your knees. You don't fight it with your husband. If you feel like there's somewhere that your husband is going a little bit wayward, then what you do is you pray. God, help my husband. I really feel like this is something, help my husband find more men that he can speak to, help my husband in this area. I pray that the works of his hands will prosper. I pray that you bless him, God. I pray that everything he does will not be in vain. Then you go and fight your battles on your knees. The end. You put the suggestion, not manipulative, not twisting his hand. Not you're putting the suggestion, but you're trying to force him to take what you're saying. Don't ever do that. Don't be manipulative. That's manipulation, as the Jamaicans say. Manipulation. Put it on the table, leave it alone. Because sometimes he may not even take it until maybe weeks later, months later. Something else that you have to learn when it comes not just to men, but just to interpersonal relationships, you have to give people grace. And grace is not just singular. You have to give people the grace to grow on at their own pace, at their pace of grace. That's what I say. Let people grow at their pace of grace. What one person, for one person, may have taken just a few months to reach a certain revelation. Maybe for you, you knew immediately, okay, I have to go and seek outside help to help me in this area. Okay. For another person, might take 3 years. And I know for some of you guys, oh, 3 years of the same thing. Yep, might take 3 years. You know, you want to know why? Because in your relationship with God, there was things that he was so patient with you about that you did not figure out until years down the line. I don't know about you. Maybe you guys don't have that relationship with God. I know I have been saved for over a decade at this point. There are some things that I did not understand until 5 years later, 3 years later, 6 years later, heck, a decade later. And I'm like, wow, God, you were so patient with me. Wow. And God was just patiently just covering me, just letting me go at my own pace to understand my own revelation. We're not talking about sin. We're not talking about, we're just talking about something like, hey, I want to start a business. How do I do it? Right. So that's what I would say. I would just really recommend that you put it on the table, leave it. Okay. And you walk with him and you pray for him. Okay. So that is what I can share. And okay, two more questions. How do you prioritize which skills to work on in your femininity journey? Okay, that is a good question. So, how do you prioritize which skills? Every season is different. And I think you just need to have different themes for each season. So, maybe in one season, you might need to focus on, and everything also depends on your goals and just mapping things out. It's just people don't map things out of how they're going to get to a certain point. Maybe in this season, you might commit for 3 months. I'm going to work on my presentation. Okay, fair, right? And you just focus on that. Maybe 3 months, another 3 months, you work on homemaking. Okay, that's what you work on. You're probably going to, okay, I'm going to have a small get together. I'm going to go to Michael's and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, whatever. Another 3 months, it's something else. But just have themes. And maybe it doesn't have to be 3 months. It could just be 1 month. But it just really depends on you and depends on what your vision is, right? Have that vision first and then have the goals and then map it out and kind of move backwards. But just also remember when you commit to a certain goal in a certain season, just know that you have to deprioritize other things. So I know for me, for me and my husband, like right now, we are really focused on our business in this season, and we're focused on very specific areas in our business. I cannot prioritize homemaking as much as I did. Now, I still cook, I still clean, but I cannot put my energy into being so creative anymore. So the skills that I already learned, that's what I learned. I said, okay, here's a little bit of parsley flakes, make the food look pretty. Here you go. Boom. But as far as thinking about new ideas and ooh, how I'm gonna do the home like this and like that, I don't have the space for that. And plus, I'm a mother now in this season. I don't have the bandwidth for all of that. So I do enough to keep us moving, but I said no, in this season, we have to prioritize these things in our business because this is our short-term goal. And it's really important that we hit this short-term goal. Right. And now in another season, I have the space. And this is something I said to one of our clients um maybe a few days ago on Monday. And I said, do not waste a season. If in this season you have space to do something, don't waste it because you don't know what the next season is going to be like. You don't know if the next season you're going to not have space, right? Not have the space, not have the bandwidth. And it would suck to be like, oh my gosh, I had so much free time last time and now blah, blah, blah. I would say just think about your vision, think about your goals or your goals, short term, long term goals. What's the most important right now in the season? And focus on that, commit to that for a short while, and then, you know, do as much as you can and then move on to the next thing, is what I would say. And lastly, how do you stay consistent in your femininity journey? I'm not sure if you missed what we were talking about. I showed you guys the vision ladder. I don't know if you guys missed. I don't know if you missed it. You could watch the replay of this. How to stay consistent is you have to develop habits. That's it. You have to develop habits. You can't get around that because that is the real work. If you focus on habits and who you're becoming, then everything else will fall into place because you have no choice but to become who your habits say that you are. Right. So if you want to stay consistent, I say focus on the benefits. That's the biggest thing. I had one of my mentees, she asked me, because I made a stories about in my Instagram stories, I said, don't start a business. What did I say? Don't start a business because of passion. Start a business because you're solving a problem. And I explained that if you have a passion, how people usually start businesses is I have a passion. What am I good at? Let me try to get people to pay me. Nope, wrong way. Now, if you are not trying to really make a lot of money and you're doing this for fun, go ahead. But that's why I say that's a hobby, which is not bad to have a hobby. Like, let's say you want to, I'm just throwing something out. Oh, I can knit mice clothes. All right. Wow. You have a pet mouse and you're able to knit and you make little mouse clothes. Awesome. Right? You have a pet cockroach and you make clothes for them. Okay. Passion, right? But you can't now be like, yeah, I'm good at making cockroaches clothing and I'm good at making mice clothing. Now, who's going to pay me? It's not solving a problem. It's not like, where's the market for that? So you start from what problems do people have and what problems do I enjoy solving? And then from there, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, from there, it doesn't matter what you're good at. You just have to do the work and be good at it because that is what you want to do. So, when I'm saying all this, because I'm talking about what is the goal? And she reached out to me and said, oh, yeah, I wanted to reach out to you and ask you about, I want to get into content creating. What do you, and she just asked me some questions. Tying it back to what we're saying here, what I told her is she has to decide what the vision is. Do you want to be famous or do you want to make money? Hello. Do you want to be famous or do you want to make money? Because both will lead you on two different paths. So if you want to just content create because of passion and hobbies, That's fine, but just know that I'm doing this because I want to feel fulfilled and I want a creative outlet, which is great. But if you're trying to make money, who cares how creative you are? It doesn't matter because guess what? You're a broke creative. You're a broke creative. And understanding, just for example, when it comes to our business, the business that my husband and I have, we're not doing this just because to be creative. Now, there's creative things that you see us doing, but ultimately, we're here to solve a problem um how do I say it? And to be paid for solving that problem. That's the goal. So, you know how we stay consistent? Because we haven't hit that yet. When you desire something enough, that's why you have to know the benefits of something. You have to really master the art of desire. Because a lot of women, the issue why they don't stay consistent is because, like I said, they're motivated by shame and not by benefits. And benefits is fueled by desire. But women keep themselves small and they don't give themselves the space to actually want anything. They can tell you all day what they don't want. I don't want this. I don't want a man like my daddy. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't want this. I don't want Okay, so then Funke, what do you want? Be honest. If you want to make $1 million, it's better that you're honest about that and you focus on that versus sitting here and just shooting in the dark and then being disappointed because it didn't get you the results that you wanted. But when you're focused on this is really what I want, this is what I want, this is the emotional fulfillment that I want to have, that I want to achieve. What do you want to achieve? Why do you want to be feminine? And this is part of like exploring your shadow, which I don't want to get too into that because it can really get really woo woo, but really understand those parts of you that you're hiding from yourself because you might feel shame, right? For some of you, you want to feel accepted. Start there. That's your why. Why do you want to be more feminine? Some of you, it's because of status. Okay, let's be real. Okay, if we're gonna be anything, let's be for real. Okay, that's why you want to be feminine because you want to feel accomplished. You want to feel accepted. You want to feel validated. You want to feel like you stunting on the other girls. Whatever. That's your why. I don't care. Start somewhere. But if you don't start anywhere and you're trying to hide what you like, the real reason, that's why you stay stuck. That's why I said with my husband and I, the business that we have, we're not doing it just to be creative and to make people laugh. Who cares? Yes, people being sad or being bored is a problem, but that's not a problem that we're trying to solve. The problem that we're trying to solve is that women need to get married. That's what we're trying to solve. If it's not getting y'all married, who cares? If it's not paying our bills, who cares? Who cares? That's how you stay consistent. You stay consistent because you understand what you're doing right now in the short term is leading you closer to your vision. But if you're not clear on your vision, and if you're hiding, because some of you, it's a lack of faith, and you're scared, and you don't think it's possible, right? And if you don't think it's possible, everything, like I said, is short term. If you don't think it's possible to achieve your femininity goals, then why are you drinking water? You don't even, there's no direction, there's nothing. I'm just going to drink water today because someone told me to. All right. And then what happens tomorrow? Nothing. You know why? Because it didn't come from inside. It has to be a desire. One of my desires is to be healthy, right? That's something I actually desire. That's not something that I'm looking at someone else. It's like, oh, wow, it looks like she's so healthy. It's not from a place of jealousy or envy. Now, for you, it might be, I don't know, whatever, but it's from a place of like, God, you gave me a purpose to live out on this earth, and I'll be dang to squander it. I have so much to do. You have put so much inside of me in this earthen vessel. I want to leave earth empty. And I'll be danged if I'm sitting there at the end of my life. I can't even enjoy the last 10 years of my life because I have Alzheimer's, because I'm in a wheelchair, because I have grandchildren and great grandchildren. I can't even keep up with them. Is that the life that I want to live? No. So guess what? It starts today. I can't wait until now. Oh, yeah, so you're pre-diabetic to now take my health seriously. Why do I want that? Why do I want to be sitting here doing insulin shots and having my leg cut off and high blood pressure and headaches and I can't even concentrate. Now my health is a distraction to what I'm supposed to do on this earth. Why would I want that? That's why I drink water. That's why I go to the gym. That is why I have such a vested interest in health, is because I know they're poisoning us. Everybody got cancer. Everybody got high blood pressure, cholesterol, all these issues. Why would I now see all of this and be like, well, I guess I'm going to keep eating fast food and sugar? No, I don't want to die before my time. And I don't want to be at the end of my life. My parents and my grandparents and on both sides of my family is diabetes. I refuse to sit here and accept that that is genetics. No, it's your diet. It's your diet. Okay. It's your diet. Now, are some people more predisposed? If you have type 1 diabetes, then yeah, probably it's genetic. But type 2 diabetes, come on now. That's what you're eating. Is what you're eating. Too much sugar, too much starch. Okay. You don't have any muscle mass. So all this to say, sorry, I went on a tangent. All this to say, ladies, what is your why? That's how you stay consistent. What is your why? Do not try to follow what everybody else is doing and you don't understand the why. If you feel insecure, let's tackle that. Maybe that's your why. I feel insecure. Oh, just say it to yourself. I'm insecure. And I hate feeling insecure. Something I tell women is that insecurity is a distraction. Amen. Insecurity is a distraction. If you are insecure about how you look, you will not go after opportunities. Hello. Some of you guys who are preparing for marriage and dating or whatever, and you're still sitting here shy and introvert and this and that because why? You don't look good. You ain't hot. But if you were hot, okay, next. All right, you're hot. Next. You will not feel this type. You will not. It's a distraction, right? There's other things to do than to be insecure. There are other things to do. Get over it. And how do you get over it? Fix the problem. Fix the problem. Focus on that, right? So if you're disorganized, why? Why do you want to? Oh, I think I should just do this. You know why I strive to be more organized and I strive to schedule and plan, and even why I created this program, Goal Getter, is because I hate the mental stress of living day to day, feeling like I'm on a hamster wheel, feeling like it's just things keep piling up, right? Just things keep piling up. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I feel stressed. I hate feeling stressed. Y'all know I'm a certified baby girl. I'm a certified baby girl. Being mentally stressed and anxious and feeling disorganized is mental clutter that I hate. That's why I schedule and I organize myself and I organize my time. So start with the benefits, start with the why. And last question. This is a latecomer, but I'll let you guys go. I'll give you guys some time back. If someone married for compatibility, what are some ways to build chemistry and sexual tension? Interesting question. If you married for compatibility, what are ways to build chemistry and sexual tension? You just have to know yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to know what tickles you, right? I mean, I think that for women, chemistry builds over time. With men, unlike men, they're either attracted to you or they're not. The end, right? It is not something that builds over time. It's either they think you're hot or they think you're not. The end. The end. Men are very simple. Women were a little bit more complex. I would say, tell him what you need. If you need to be romanced, tell him, right? If you like, you guys just both have to work together and spend more time together, do things that you both enjoy, build that chemistry. But this really takes some self-awareness. Like what actually tickles you? Like what tickles you? Like what makes you feel like, ooh, this is my man, my man, my man, my man. Have open communication and dialogue. with your husband. But that is all that we have for this live. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Make sure that you guys either put in the community how you feel about this. Okay, thank you, thank you. Put in the community how you felt about this live, what you've learned. You can DM me personally if you don't want to put in the community. You can leave a comment if you're watching this on replay, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. See you guys next month. Oh, wait. Actually, hey, I forgot. I forgot. Don't leave just yet. Guys, I have a book. Okay. I have a book. Single for 6 years to married in 6 months. How God took me from deception to acceleration. If you want to learn more about how to get out of deception when it comes to your own love story and church lies and all that stuff, make sure you get your hands on this. Go to 6years6months.com. I have another book too, Feminine Allure Mastery. What is this? The Ultimate Maintenance Guide for Hypergamous Christian Women. Okay, you can go and get that. I really walk you through um how to level up your looks and your appearance in this guide. You can find out. I'll leave the link below. It's in the community. It's going to be in this video. So there's that. I do have a dream interpretation book too. I wasn't gonna. No, you guys can find that wherever you guys find it. And lastly, like I said, make sure that you do purchase Goal Getter Masterclass. I showed you guys the whole pyramid thing. That's just week 3 when it comes to strategy, but it's a 6-week course. And I really show you how to crush your goals, how to get more organized as a woman. I give you the tools that I've used to keep me organized and to really help me to focus on my goals. So make sure that you do purchase